Hey y'all, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the spells and dueling of Hogwarts Legacy. We're going to be talking about spells that are confirmed, not confirmed, what could be, and also what was leaked. And thank you all for all the love and support you showed in the last video. I really do feel blessed. I want to show my love and support back to the community by doing a giveaway. If I can hit 250 subscribers by the next video, which is going to be in a week's time, I will be doing a giveaway of a Noble Collections wand, whether it be Fantastic Beasts Edition or Harry Potter Edition. Your choice. I'll choose the winner either on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter. I'll do the giveaway on all three. We'll do a link tree and I'll get a hold of you and you can choose your wand and I'll get it to you. So thank you guys and have a good one. So now, I know all y'all are wanting to see the leaks I have, but that's going to be later in the video. We're going to lead up to those leaks, because in the leaks it's going to talk about the combat style and how they fight and the keybinds and everything, and we will bring that up here in a little bit. But first, let's start with the confirmed spells. So to begin with, we're going to go over the confirmed spells in the state of play. These are the spells that have been confirmed, and we're not really going to be guessing at any of them. So to begin with, we got Stupify, expelliarmus, accio, some sort of levitating spell. We can assume it's levicorpus, but we can't be for sure. Lumis, apugno, incendio, descendo, revelio, petrificus totalis, and of course, the one that everyone was waiting for, Avada Kedavra. Starting off with the most common spell that everyone expected to be in the game is Stupify. Stupify is a stunning charm. It is the charm most commonly used in dueling. It is used to end a duel quickly to render the target unconscious and without any everlasting damage. This spell is used in most of the games along with most of the movies. You see this spell used exceptionally well with the Order of the Phoenix along with many of the good characters that don't use the curses. We can bet that we'll learn the spell pretty quickly in the game as it will be the main use for dueling. Probably the main spell we use, period. We also see the player use the spell expelliarmus. We hear him say this in a couple of different instances, along with the enemies. The expelliarmus spell is a disarming spell. It was Harry's most favorite spell in the movies. As you all know, if you read the books, you know it was his go-to spell. It knocks the victim's weapon, usually a wand, out of his or her hand. It can also be used to knock out other items in the target's hand, but we seldom see this as the use. But in state of play, we see him disarm a massive statue-looking enemy with a giant sword and then throw the sword back at the enemy. We can definitely see this spell being used very frequently and probably one of our go-tos. Next up is probably the spell that we see used the most in the state of play, and that is accio. If you didn't know, accio is a spell that is used for pulling things towards you, especially in the Fantastic Beasts movies. It is used quite frequently. But the question is, are spells like accio going to take up space in our dueling spells, or is this going to be a different keybind altogether when we see something in the world? If any of you played any of the older Harry Potter games like Order of the Phoenix or Half-Blood Prince, you'll know that we had spells that we could use the right analog stick to cast on charms used around the world, like move benches and stuff like that, or make puzzles happen. Or when we're dueling is a whole different set of spells for those same keybinds. Will Hogwarts Legacy be the same way, or will we have to keep unequipping and equipping spells to make our way through the world? This is one of the questions that many people are asking, and I don't have the answer for it yet, but the leak shows the keybinds that we'll be using for the spells, and I'll show you guys this here in a little while. So throughout the state of play, we see the player using some sort of levitating spell on his enemies, but we're not going to go into too much detail on this because it's not confirmed which one it is. We can guess it's levicorpus because that's what's in all the other Harry Potter games to use for this situation, but it's not for sure. On to the next confirmed spell, it would be lumis. We see our character using lumis throughout the state of play and anywhere that's dark. We even hear him say lumis at one point. Lumis is one of the spells that you see in the movies and here in the books and in most video games when it's dark and they need a light. It's kind of like turning your wand into a flashlight. This spell can be used a lot in this game, especially if we're traveling through the dungeons, stuff like they say, if it's very dark and we need a light. We also see lumis making those creepy vine things from like we see in the first movie go away, like make them spread and disappear. It's a pretty cool concept that makes lumis way more valuable in a video game than what we see in most of the games we have so far. We also see our player using a apugno very often. This is where you summon an object and direct it towards your target. You can make any object go towards your target to attack them. We see this all the time in the game whenever you see the R1 prompt and you see him pull a barrel towards him or something and throw it at the enemy. You hear him say apugno. This looks like it's going to be one of the spells you don't have to have equipped on you. It's going to be one of those things kind of like Spider-Man when you would hold R1, you just web an object, throw it out. It's going to be something like that along those lines. It's not going to be something you have to have equipped, but it's going to be a nice skill to have for each battle you're in. So next on one of the confirmed spells is Incendio. We all should know what Incendio does. I mean, it's pretty explanatory with the name of it, but this sets fire to objects. In other video games, it's used to set things on fire, like portraits and heaters and stuff like that. But in this game, it looks like it's used in combat, which we don't get to see a lot of. It looks like you're setting your enemies ablaze, which honestly is kind of a cool concept, not like this. Hopefully it stays in here, because that would be a really cool combo to do, just catch all your enemies on fire. I mean, I am kind of demented like that, but that's pretty cool if you ask me. Next on the list is Descendo. Descendo is specifically mentioned by the narrator, saying slam your opponents with Descendo. This seems to be a very cool concept, and this will honestly make the combat a lot more fun if you levitate someone with one of the levitating spells and then slam them down with Descendo. There's a lot of cool combos that come with this, and honestly I hope to see this used quite often. Next is Revelio. We see the character using Revelio when he opens up a scroll and then you see these gold objects through the walls. I think Revelio is going to be one of those other spells that you can use throughout the world to help you find items and quest items and maybe some unlockables along the way. But it'll be interesting to see if there's a cooldown on it or what is the limits to this spell. But again, this is a really cool adaptation of a spell that we've seen in the movies, read in the books, and hasn't been in a game that I know of so far. And this is really cool to see. Another spell that we see the player using in the state of play is Petrificus Totalis. Petrificus Totalis is a paralyzing spell. We see it in most of the games and movies thus far, and it could be very useful in combat. But as we see the player do it in state of play, is he sneaks up on people and it prompts him to hit square, and then he casts Petrificus Totalis to do a sneak attack on him. Well, does that raise the question of if we can use it in regular combat, or does it have to be a sneak attack? I think it's going to be both. I think we're going to be allowed to use it in a dueling as well, because we also see later in the state of play, you get petrified by something. Again, we can probably guess it's Petrificus Totalis. And now on to the last confirmed spells that were in the state of play, and then we'll move on to the leak, which I know is what all of you are waiting for. So for the last confirmed spells, we've of course got mysterious magic that you are not learning from your professors.
Full magic your professors do not understand to obliterate your strongest foes.
This is something that you're probably learn when you're exploring in the open world, something that has to do naturally or something along those lines, because when the narrator says mysterious magic, we see him summon lightning from the sky to attack the foe, something like the Fantastic Beasts movie when Grindelwald does it to take out the Broom Riders. And then of course the spell that everyone wants and that everyone's excited to get, Avada Kedavra, the Killing Curse.
May lead you down a darker path.
Avada Kedavra! With this in the state of play, it really made everyone excited to see that we could finally go down the path that we haven't been able to do in all the Harry Potter games before. But now finally we get the chance. But the question arises, do we get to use the other unforgivable curses like Crucio or Imperio? Or are we stuck with just Avada Kedavra? Which personally, I would love to have Avada Kedavra. I think it's going to be unique and special and something that hasn't been done before, and I can't wait to use it. But like Imperio could be used to control enemies to do your bidding. They could do certain tasks for you or open up certain doors you couldn't unlock with by yourself, and Crucio could be used to make targets open up for a better attack to where they can't block or attack you back. You're kind of stuck there for a while. And with that, let's move on to the leak. So there's this leaked gameplay footage rolling around. It's not hard to find. You can search it pretty easy. It's from back in 2018. And in the video, you kind of see the combat controls from the HUD. You see a lot more HUD in this. And in state of play, we don't get to see any of the HUD. Don't know if that was by design or if there's not going to be that much HUD in the final product. But in the leaked gameplay, you see the keybinds for B and RT. You can't make out the top one, but B and RT for 2 of the 3 spells that you have equipped. So that makes us think that we can only have 3 spells equipped for dueling at one time. If that's how it works, however. But that's 2 of the keybinds that are already there, B and RT. That's Xbox controllers, by the way, so it'll be circle and R2 if you're on PlayStation. So with that, we can already see how the combat's going to kind of be. It's not going to be like square and triangle like a lot of people think, unless they change it. Of course, that's also possible. This was 4 years ago. This is not very viable anymore because a lot can change in 4 years, especially in game development. But this is something that not that many people have brought up, and I just want to bring it to your attention that we may have already seen the combat leaks of how it's going to act. And in it, we also see some more spells that were confirmed. I don't see if these spells that were leaked being taken out of the game, so I think we can go ahead and confirm that they are confirmed to be in the game, because why would they be in the game at this point in time but then removed 4 years later? So the spells we see in the leak are Lumis, which we already went over, Alohomora, which is unlocking doors that could be very useful in the game if there's any locked doors and stuff like that, Reparo, which we do see in the state of play. We see Fig use Reparo, but this confirms that we can use Reparo. We see Expulso, Stupify, Depulso, Leviosa, and Expelliarmus. Some of these were already confirmed already, like we went over earlier, but these just go ahead and confirm it even more. Okay, everybody, that does it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed. This is all the confirmed spells that we know of right now from the leaks and the state of play, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next video. Like and subscribe if you want to see it. We'll be going over the board in the Charms class, what spells are on it, and can we expect to see them in the game. As always, have a good one.